MLS Aces Podcast. This is your host, Tom Sweezy. This is episode 357. It is that weird, fun week between Christmas and New Year's I don't know what day it is. I have no perception of time. But Jason, how are you doing in this
It's New Year's Eve, man.
It is New Year's Eve.
Last
yes, we are
pod
recording.
of 2025 here.
Yes,
I'm doing well.
It's always, I don't know. This is a weird time of year where it's like I'm not fully ramped up into the off season mode yet, but the off season's existed for like a month now, and like it's just in my brain doesn't connect. But we are in the middle.
This is where I'm like, oh, this happened. Oh, how did I miss this happening?
Well, it's because like a lot of time spent not on your phone or with family and friends, and it's like, oh, I missed that random, Twitter post from the Chicago Fire that they signed Robin Ludd, and here we are, So it's just that time of year. The only non-soccer thing I wanted to say is it's been a good year. I think episode-wise, listener-wise, all the numbers that I've seen come through so far, and I'm still waiting on the year-end kind of like numbers that we get. I mean, I'm hoping I get it soon. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Step up your game, Buzzsprout. But outside of that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's listened, watched, and taken in, even if it's been 5 minutes of an episode this year. Thank you, Jason.
Well, I don't know. If it was only 5 minutes, they might have been like, oh, these guys suck.
It's that one episode of all the Korean fan base yelling at us about Hyunmin Son. I want to thank them as well. But no, seriously, thank you guys for listening, watching. Jason, thank you for being in every episode and dealing with my...
I don't know if I was in everyone, but I try.
I think maybe like you missed an interview or two. It's okay. It's really not a big deal. And the only ask that I have for folks heading into 2026 is like, I see the numbers every single week of the amount of listens and downloads and whatever. A lot of you motherfuckers aren't subscribing and or reviewing or any of that.
A lot of you really great people.
You're great people, but I would appreciate if in 2026, your New Year's resolution, you watching this or listening to this right now, is to take 2 seconds out of your day, write a review, subscribe if you haven't, all that fun stuff. So I appreciate it. I'll get all that out of the way. Jason, are you ready to talk about soccer?
I'm ready to talk about people moving to other people's teams.
That is part of soccer for sure. I mean, look, it is that time of year. There is no other news that's really popped up, whether it's even minor. USL Championship and the USL Players Association, they're about to go on strike if there's no agreement that comes to a head on their Players Association deal. We can talk about that if you want. That seems a little boring, but
I mean that seems pretty bad if it happens. I think we should just probably wait till it happens. If hopefully it doesn't.
Well, they have till midnight tonight to figure that out. Otherwise, the deal is over. But look, I mean, I think if you're playing professional soccer, you should be able to make a living wage off of it, and many USL players don't, and they aren't guaranteed health insurance and stuff like that for playing the sport. It's a little wild to me. So
yeah,
come up with a fair deal. That's my piece on that. I don't know. I'm trying to think about anything other than transfers to entertain you here with Jason, because I know you.
No, let's just get into it.
Do you want to talk about how Botafogo's on a transfer ban because they still haven't paid Atlanta United like $30 million for a
That's actually crazy.
It is. But that's really it. That's the big fucking U.S. soccer kind of related news. All right.
We are 1 day from a World Cup year.
We are 1 day
in the U.S.
By the time you are listening to this, I might just drop it on New Year's Eve and fuck the schedule for the one last day. But by the time you're listening to this, it's a World Cup year. So happy World Cup year, everybody. All right, let's dive into it. Jason, do you care about either of the homegrown signings that we've seen this week or the one weird MLS mechanism signing that happened? It is okay if you don't. I'm just making sure I cover all my bases here.
No, well, I mean, not that I know like a ton about the homegrown signings, but I do want to just like, I like what NCAA to whatever just MLS
any MLS club
potentially works out. So
it's always that weird move where it's like you have all these college guys, and then some of these college guys have like homegrown ties to MLS clubs, like New York City signed two, NCAA players, and I think Houston did it the other week and whatnot as well. But it's always like a weird, like, certain players don't have ties to MLS clubs. Certain players do. Those players that don't are part of the super draft, and then blah, 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 blah. Weird MLS rules. But yeah, good seeing more younger players getting into the mix. And then San Diego, they got Wilson Eisner right back from free agency. He was part of San Jose's system the last few years. I actually like him as a player. He's been doing really well at MLS Next Pro, and San Diego just doing the thing where they get underutilized young talent. So I wouldn't surprise me if Wilson Eisner plays like 1,500 minutes for San Diego next year, and he's like a decent backup right back. Just throwing that out there because we got nothing else really here. Jason, re-signings. We got a few here that I feel like are pretty important. You wanna start off?
I mean, I think we should start off with Paul Rothrock.
Prime time.
Back to Seattle. I think I don't know if we talked about Seattle as much. I mean, we did a decent amount, but obviously there was like that one time where they beat Miami in that League Cup.
They won a trophy. Yeah, they won the League Cup final. Yeah,
yeah,
it's already gone.
And Paul Rothrock made his impact. So like I really like him as a player. Obviously, he's kind of like a cult following type player, right, in Seattle. So I think just culture-wise and having him back, and he's a solid player that's going to continue, hopefully, to get better for Seattle. And he's somewhat of a depth piece. Depth piece. It's early. It's early in the morning today.
There's a P in there.
This might be the first podcast ever that I actually have a cup of coffee.
I mean, we've recorded late at night and I have a cup of coffee, so I'm not.
That's fair. Or a beer.
That too.
But yeah, I think he's somewhat of a depth piece for them. But if he can continue to improve, then obviously we've seen Seattle and the likes of Pedro de la Vega, Paul Arriola, Jordan Morris, like these guys at Perea, like they have injury histories that are not necessarily the greatest. So having a depth piece like Paul Rothrock, who is probably going to be starting some games, is pretty important.
I mean, look, to me, the Sounders almost played 50 games last year. The Club World Cup was in the middle of it, and obviously there's no Club World Cup this year and whatnot, but there's still Champions League, and there's still Leagues Cup, and there's still MLS action and the MLS Cup playoffs that I fully expect the Seattle Sounders to be fully involved in all of those, right? And whatever, we'll see who plays in what competition, but you get it. There's a lot of competitions that are going on, and I expect the Sounders to be making deep runs into most of them. You need depth with that. You need talent behind your starters that could be probably starters anywhere else, and that's a big reason why I didn't think Paul Rothrock was returning to the Sounders, because it wouldn't have surprised me if like Toronto, if Houston, if I don't know, DC United, if whoever was like, let's go get Paul Rothrock, pay him more money than maybe quote unquote what he's worth, and he'll be a starting winger for us. And like that's just what we see naturally. But I think it speaks to,
I feel like that's what we see with like fringe good teams, or like good teams who haven't necessarily been able to sustain quality. But I think with Seattle, there's like a different. I hate that we do this. I do this all the time, but like there's definitely a different type of sustainability with some clubs in MLS that I think make a bigger effort to do moves like this one. And I think this is the type of move. There's probably actually maybe a couple others maybe on this list of re-signings, but like I think this is like the type of move that Seattle does, because there is actually probably, for Paul Rothrock, it's almost more beneficial for him to not do that. Oh, I'm going to go to I'm not going to name any team and start and potentially not have a less successful season than he would coming off the bench in Seattle, and probably benefit more. Can they keep him forever? I have no idea. I mean, look, 26 and he's getting better every year. So there's a good chance he's gone eventually, but there's also a good chance they keep him. They move on from Paul Arriola or something, and he's the one starting.
To me, it's like yes, he's maybe going to be, and he could be listed as a starter in 2026. He could be the number one backup at the left wing, the Paul Arriola or whatever it may be. But he's still going to be starting games. He's still going to be
He
playing.
also can move. Like, I feel like he can move around a decent amount. He's not stuck in, he has to play this position.
No, I think to me, the Sounders might have the best backup winger situation in the league with Manungu and Paul Rothrock.
Yeah.
Like two younger, or not younger, but in their prime guys who are like just contributing a ton off the bench and can spot start and do great. But look, the Seattle Sounder organization of Brian Schmetzer has created such, I think, like a great situation to what you were speaking of, Jason, of like certain clubs in this league just do it different. Where Paul Rothrock maybe, I don't know, and this is me speculating, not saying anything I know specifically, but may have turned down more money, may have turned down a true starting role in this league where he is a penciled or a sharpied in name every single week, right? To go back to the Sounder organization where maybe he, doesn't get as many minutes somewhere else, and maybe he gets less money somewhere else. But there's a chance for him to win trophies and win games and still, get paid well. I also think, there's a reason why he broke out at 25, 26 years old under Brian Schmetzer. Like maybe it's just like, I'm going to play my best soccer under a guy like Schmetzer, so.
And I think and now we're fully speculating, right? But I think like a guy like Brian Schmetzer strikes me as in Seattle strikes me as a team that maybe went to him right away, knowing the future situation that he might be in, knowing that he is a good player. He might get offers, like you're saying, maybe more money, more time somewhere else.
Years,
and say, hey, you know what? We know you're good enough to start somewhere, but we want you as part of what they're really trying to go for.
And he will start for the Sounders again.
But he might start anyway. But he might go to another team and have no chance at a trophy, right? Where in Seattle you have chances at big trophies.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, look, so last year, obviously, Paul Rothrock, like we said, played a key depth piece for the Sounders that went on, played a shit ton of games, won Leagues Cup over Inter Miami. Rothrock had 14 goal contributions, 5 goals, 9 assists across 48 games last year for the Sounders. And yeah, I mean, like you said, Jason, to start the whole thing, like Paul Arriola was out for most of 2025.
Everyone on that team has injury issues, except for maybe Paul Rothrock.
Literally, Paulie Primetime and Danny Musovsky just sticking strong. But yeah, so the Sounders made a very smart move. I was surprised to see him come back. I know even the likes of like Tom Bogert, definitely said that there was a market for Paul Rothrock for sure. But the Sounders do what the Sounders do and keep their core together. With that, we didn't talk about this last week, but since we're talking Sounders, I'll throw it out there. Why not? The Sounders did transfer out Danny Levya a few weeks ago, their 22-year-old homegrown central midfielder. Sold him over to Necaxa there was nothing super confirmed, if I'm not mistaken, but the reported fee was about $1 million for him. Levya, like I said, obviously a homegrown kid, came up through the academy, all of that, was part of the team that won the Champions League final, won MLS Cup, won Leagues Cup last year. He played 26 games for the Sounders last year. Again, we're talking, the Sounders had guys coming off their bench that would probably start for most other MLS clubs. That was Danny Levya, and he played a key depth piece behind Christian Roldan and Obed Vargas and all of that. So that makes sense as to why Hassani Dotson was brought in, and we talked about Dotson last week, but the Sounders doing their best to keep a strong core, and that's why the Sounders are the Sounders. And
that's why that's again why we talk about some teams differently. It's because they make moves usually expecting other moves, or they have moves planned based on players out.
It never seems like they're going to transfer away a guy without having some kind of idea of how they can replace it. It didn't seem like Leva was going to be gone without them understanding that a guy like Hassani Dotson or
we need to fill these
exactly
somehow, or we need to figure out some type of quality to potentially rotate the squad.
Exactly.
Especially with you were saying, there's so many games. I mean, this year we're going to have a World Cup that's going to kind of make it
break it up a little bit.
A weird year for MLS.
Yeah. But that's why we're switching the calendar, but whatever. All right. The other re-signings, there's one, obviously, I want to talk about. Andres Perea coming back for New York City FC. Obviously, Perea absolutely demolished his leg in the MLS Cup playoffs that, Apple TV likes to re-show a bunch of times, which was, it doesn't bother me, but if people have, children watching, it would bother me. So I get it. But the 25-year-old obviously has one cap with the USMNT, and he's been a really good central midfielder for New York City, kind of, again, talking about this type of guy who could start, who could be your first guy off the bench, whatever it may be. That's what Andres Perea has been. Obviously, I don't know if he's going to play in 2026, but I'm happy to see him locked down for the
team. What was the official?
I think it was.
I was going to look it up. I don't remember if I saw the
he tore something. He's a right lower leg fracture. That's not good.
Isn't that a broken bone?
Yeah, that's just he broke his lower right leg. Probably knee down.
He probably tore something then, I'm assuming.
I would assume, yeah. That
I feel, because I was like, some of these injuries, nowadays, are just not what they used to be.
No. I mean,
which is a great thing, but it's he might be back next year. I don't really know. I guess it's hard to speculate without it's pretty much impossible to speculate.
It's for any of these major injuries, right? I think Perea probably might be the latest one in the season that we had last year. That was pretty significant.
But post World Cup is what, August?
I would say if he comes back, it's for the playoffs, and if he comes back for the playoffs, it's what type of form is he even in?
Yeah,
There's also that
he's coming back for 20 minutes at the end of the game, which might actually be useful.
Maybe just go put your studs into someone, who knows?
No. Avoid any contact.
Don't stand up. All right, so Andres Perea, just as a New York City fan, happy to see him back. Do you want to talk about any of the other three?
I think Rudy Camacho coming back to Columbus is not necessarily a massive signing, but as someone who has over 368 career games, and they're going through a coaching change, I feel like that is just someone useful to have around your locker room.
A veteran, for sure, yeah.
And I trust Columbus, obviously, so I'm curious how this is going to look, because I think they still don't even have a manager, which will be that'll be a fun episode to talk about.
I mean, Tom Bogert has been reporting this. I think it started coming out yesterday, the 30th, that Russell Martin, the former, never mind. Breaking news as of 10 minutes ago. The Columbus Crew are finalizing a deal named Henrik Reinstrom, the club's next head coach. Reinstrom won 2 league titles with Malmo and is a proponent of attractive front-footed soccer. I know nothing about Henrik Reinstrom, and the breaking news live on the podcast really just highlighted.
Wait, where did you even see it? Is that from Bogert?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm still getting Russell Martin news.
Did I get faked out? No, this is the real Tom Bogert.
No, you're probably right.
He reported yesterday that Russell Martin, the former Rangers manager and Premier League manager, was a finalist, and then this just came out 10 minutes ago. Henrik Reinstrom, he last managed at Malmo. 49-year-old Swedish manager. Let's see what else we got going on.
I'm looking him up right now.
that's pretty much Malmo, which is a very good club, is his biggest accomplishment. He was there from the end of 2022 to the middle of this current year, September 2025.
Till now, basically.
Literally.
Till today.
till about 5 minutes ago. 126 games in charge of Malmo, 74 wins, 26 draws, 26 losses, and he won 2 Swedish league titles and the Swedish Cup with Malmo.
Dude, he played for 20 years for a single team.
Did he really? Wow.
551 appearances for Kalmar FF.
Oh, and he was the manager of Kalmar FF before Malmo. So there you go. He went
caretaker.
Yeah.
Manager. Yeah.
Yeah. He went
it.
long-term player to to manager to then the biggest club in
I mean,
Sweden.
does he have arguably like the biggest shoes to fill in MLS?
Yeah, I mean,
like immediately he's going to be judged so harshly if they start off poorly.
look, I'll say the track record is impressive. I don't know. I don't follow the Swedish league that much. So
I mean, we also literally found out about it 20 seconds ago, and then I Googled him.
I'm trying to process my thoughts in terms of podcast thinking.
You say he was 49?
Yeah, so
that's pretty good. Like he might be there for a while.
Relatively young manager who's had success at a pretty decent sized club. Won 3 trophies and has won a lot of games for them. If I'm a Columbus fan, I'm happy. There's no one's gonna replace Wilfried Nancy. Like no one is gonna be Wilfried Nancy.
There's
like,
no such thing as that, right?
that isn't going to exist. But yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna be interested to see if maybe this shapes the rest of the transfer window for the Columbus Crew.
Well, that was my other point. Is like there's not a ton of Columbus Crew news, right? And I think they're probably looking at head coach, then making some potentially bigger moves. Also, there may not need to be that many moves with this team, but I do think like Camacho brings in an experience continuation over managers that's valuable for. I mean, and I think if there's any like team that maybe doesn't have a ton of turmoil from year to year, it's probably the Crew. So maybe it's like the least team that might need it, but I think it's valuable regardless.
I will say this. I'm on Transfermarkt, just checking out this guy's profile a little bit. It looks like primary formation he's playing is a 4-4-2, a little bit of a 4-2-3-1 sprinkled in there, but it looks like we will see a tactic shift for the Columbus Crew, unless, again, that's just pure me guessing based off the formations Transfermarkt is throwing out there for me. But we will see. That would shift around this roster quite a bit as well. So we will see. Where's Max Larson playing that? Ooh. Okay, I don't know. We'll dive into that.
I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll get.
Hey, I have a ton of really good players. Let's see. How can I get the most out of them?
Where can I fit all these talented players? I mean,
where can I look too? Oh, maybe last year's team.
I love the reports also coming out that Wilfried Nancy is trying to bring over Diego Rossi and Wessam Abu Ali on transfers, and in January, and it's like. I don't think Abu Ali's leaving. Maybe Diego Rossi, but I don't know. So,
but Rossi already had that kind of excursion.
Yeah, like he already left, came back. It didn't work out for him.
And he's succeeded so much in MLS. It's like maybe like I don't know how they're wired, but like I'd want to stay where I'm like most successful.
Yeah,
he's a star of the league.
He is a star with the Columbus Crew. He was a star with LAFC, and I don't know if he's going to go be that elsewhere. But I mean, look, it's not looking great for Wilfried Nancy over in Salt Lake. He's gotten a win since we've last spoken, but we will.
How long do you think they give him the benefit of the doubt?
I don't know. People are saying like he's not going to make the season. I don't know if that's just speculation or.
I just feel like that's such a bad. Like he came in mid-season.
I will say, and I know, the soccer purists out there don't love it. The XG that his Celtics team has had over the 5 games he's managed or whatever, the XG is so high. Like the amount of expected goals that this team should have scored is ridiculous.
I like the people who are like expected goal haters.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like. I like to look at it, but also you can't like just look at that.
Yes.
To be like, oh, we should have won. Like that's not how it works. And I feel like the people who hate it are like, see, look, they have a higher one and they lost.
It's just like anything else, right?
It's not guaranteed.
It's like the NFL when they say like all these head coaches now have like statistics about when to kick a field.
I don't like that. I don't like that more because there's a lot of times in the NFL where I'm like, why wouldn't you just
get the points? Just
go and you're winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, winning's worse than being tied.
And I think that is trickling into all sports.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, right? Like XG is this magic number apparently that wins.
I mean, it makes sense if you just think about it a little. Like a 1 on none chance that's missed is going to have a higher percent than like a 40-yard free kick that you put over the post. Like
sometimes you just gotta feel what's right, and you gotta like it's not.
Also, sometimes you might score on some crazy accident.
Yeah, I mean, look, Kellen Acosta scored a ball from midfield in a windstorm in Chicago. Like
I was there. I was there for that. That was St. Patrick's Day. I think it might not have been like the exact day, but it was like the St. Patrick's weekend, which is like a huge thing in Chicago. And I went to the game, and it was insane.
It's one of my favorite goals that I've seen in the last like few.
I mean, like, I have to go watch it again because I just remember the ball like going up, and you're like, oh, what just happened? And then it just like slowly like just gets taken by the wind. Oh man, that's.
I'm also a Kellen Acosta guy, so it helps. But
yeah, I mean, huge Kellen Acosta pod.
Friend of the pod. That was a while ago now. Jeez. All right, let's go free agents.
My keyboard stopped working on my computer.
Your computer's really just hanging on by.
It's just making like every time I try and type something, it just makes like the error sound. You know, that's like boom.
Yeah. Maybe that's your 2026 resolution.
Let's see if I can type in here. Nope, I can't even click in here. Nope, I'm just gonna not click anything because
this is just a fancy camera for you.
This might freeze and die.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's talk free agents. I'll start off with going again with the homer pick if you're okay with that, but with the Justin Haak signing over with the LA Galaxy. So former NYCFC player, 24-year-old center back, D mid, center mid, whatever you want Justin Haak to play, he will do it, has signed with the LA Galaxy in free agency, apparently turning down less money from New York City FC to go to LA, which that stung. I get it. I don't hold it against him, but I get it in my heart. I
don't get it.
He is an MLS Cup champion, a Campeones Cup champion with New York City FC. Last season, he played all 43 games for the club, scoring 2 goals with 5 assists. Homegrown signing, right? And like that's where it's like you see it out, and to me, and we can talk about this maybe with the larger
losing a 24-year-old a homegrown though just feels like
inside the league sucks. Because
we obviously lost Guti, but
you made a profit off of him. You know? Yeah, to me, it's
you probably made a profit, but it's like it's less of like now we have to play this guy potentially like against him.
Yeah, to me, it's like losing a guy on a free is, especially when like you offered him as much money, apparently the most money he was gonna get. Like that's a little bit like you messed up.
That's like what I don't know. Like, does he just want to live in LA?
I know he had issues with the former sporting director, David Lee, the guy who went out to Sporting Kansas City. So it's like, you know, I know that existed. David Lee apparently was not a big fan of Justin Haak's, and then he went out and played every minute for New York City this year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a case like that where maybe it's just some stuff, personal feelings with the club that he doesn't want to continue on with, which I get, and I would probably hold.
Well, in that case, then it totally makes sense. But it's like,
you know, I would have loved to have seen him come back. I personally think Justin Haak is last year was one of the top 5 center backs in the entire league, and that includes the 2 center backs out in Philadelphia, and one of those dudes went to the LA Galaxy as well. You know,
this could be like one of the best signings of the year for the
100%. I think the Glesnes Haak kind of move out to the Galaxy could shape things a lot.
I mean, what is like they're getting Puig back, and the one thing we've always talked about with the Galaxy is how can they score more than their opponent? Well, it's going to be a lot easier next year to score more than what they're allowing.
Yeah,
hopefully. I mean, assuming that these signings pan out like they should.
The only curious thing to me is obviously Greg Vanney does not normally play with a back 3. Justin Haak, I think, had his best season as a center back in a back 3 last year. In the press release, the LA Galaxy announced him as a midfielder. So, and look, that is also at the same exact time, I could be splitting hairs. That is the Swiss Army knife, the Swiss Army knife that you get with Justin Haak is he can play 4 different positions for you and do it at a pretty stable MLS quality level. So maybe it is just they have the versatility of bumping to a back 3 to a 4-4-2 to a 4-3-3, and he kind of offers that a little bit more. because even when it was just like Jacob Glesnes and Carlos Garces, I was like, okay, like a young center back, MLS veteran, and now you add in Justin Haak. It's not a bad back three if that's how they decide to play it. If it's Haak next to like Edwin Cerrillo or Luca Sanabria in that midfield, I like it. I don't know. We'll see. We have to see how Greg Vanney's going to align this team, but just like you said with the Sounders, or with the Columbus Crew, it's like you just have a bunch of talent on the team. You got to figure it out. You got to plug and play, and then yes.
Well, I mean, yeah. At some point, it's like it shouldn't be that difficult, especially when you have players that are somewhat versatile.
Yeah, I mean, look, Justin Haak came up as a homegrown like central midfielder, D mid, and there was a point where I didn't think he was going to be on a New York City roster at a certain point. Like he was just going to be one of those homegrowns that just like, their contract option doesn't get picked up and whatever. Yeah. And then he gets a few minutes as a left-footed center back, and then he gets, a starting role as a center back in a back three, and he's thriving. So I don't know. It's biased for sure. I will sit here and put my hand up on that, but I think that's going to be by the end of 2020.
I mean, if anyone has probably watched him the most, it's you. So, if you're upset about it, it's probably pretty accurate.
If he's not one of the best center backs in MLS next year, I wouldn't be surprised, especially if it's like him in a back four. But I think if he's kind of bumping around the field, he shifts to a left-footed center back in a three, bumps up into the midfield. It's him and Glesnes. I'd feel confident if I'm a Galaxy fan. So Galaxy, you guys got a good one. Do you want to go into your free agent signing?
Let's do it. Robin Lod to the Fire. Pretty crazy. Greg is cooking a bit. He's 32.
Like Greg cooked.
Finland international. Free transfer is awesome. Like for Robin Lod, that's crazy.
I didn't think Robin Lod was going to be one of those like free agents and I'm doing air quotes here for people listening, free agents that actually like made free agency. I thought it was just going to be like, his contract ran out, but he was going to re-sign with Minnesota. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, 445 career games. He played 43 last season for Minnesota. This is a great move, I think, for the Fire. Obviously, there's some movement in our midfield a bit with Gutierrez going out, like we talked about, and Andre Franco, who I believe is probably out at least till the World Cup, maybe after.
I would say till after, yeah.
Basically till after the World Cup with, I think, torn ACL.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, there's a need for a player in that position. That's going to be a starter level. So having Robin Lod come in is huge. It's honestly like this has got to be one of the better moves of the offseason so far.
I wouldn't disagree, right? Like he's 32, he's probably entering just that point of like the slow decline of his playing career. Last year still had 11 goal contributions to his name with the Minnesota team that went in pretty far into the MLS season. But Robin Lod's one of those dudes who's like, to me, has just been one of the most overlooked talents in Major League Soccer since his arrival.
Well, I feel like he's not gonna like wow you every week, but he's not gonna make many mistakes. He's gonna be able to fit into most attacking systems. The Fire have obviously really improved their attack over the last few years with Kuipers, Bamba, Zinkernagel coming back. Like, there's room for more growth, and I think Robin Lod is a player that can kind of get inserted in that and actually kind of make a big impact right away, especially now that they're going to have, like, the full offseason with them.
It's also, to me, it's like, Lud's a guy who has always had to be the dude at Minnesota for the most part until Tani Oluwaseyi last year was scoring in bunches and whatnot. But like before that, Minnesota hasn't really had that true attack in front of him. And Robin Lud's been the guy that's been able to pick up a bunch.
Yeah, he should be pretty happy. The Fire are maybe the best attack we've had since Nikolic and David Agam and those guys.
This is the better attack. This is a far better.
Oh no, this is a better attack. But I'm just saying, has there been an attack even close to that? 2018 or 17 team?
For him specifically, or for the Fire?
For the Fire.
For the Fire, no, not at all. For him,
no, not even close.
I would say maybe like the Taniolo Asai, like that maybe compares, but I mean, look,
if anything, like that's a good thing because that was pretty recent. He's going to come in and if he can form like a good relationship with Kuipers specifically, and
he has a top of the line, top 5 striker in the league. He has a winger last year that came in year 1 putting up crazy goal contribution numbers, and maybe another year of Jonathan Bamba getting a little bit more acclimated to the league. You could see his,
Bamba's interesting because like I think you could just look at his stats and say he was a disappointment, but there's moments where I feel like he's making a bigger impact than gets, and this could just be me being a Fire fan.
He gets a lot of attention.
He gets a lot of attention. He works pretty hard. Like, for someone who's had some DPs, and I'm not going to mention anyone that have not worked that hard, he works hard for a DP level player. I think I would be surprised if he doesn't improve upon last year.
I will also just say this. He had 13 goal contributions across all competitions in year 1. Like, yes, the numbers, 6 goals, 7 assists aren't like, oh my God, I want that.
Yeah, but if you look at the other side of the attack with like 20 plus goal contributions,
literally,
the attack on its own was obviously working. And whether they were working through the left, the right more than the left, whatever he was doing was drawing at least 1, maybe 2 defenders to open up that other side of the field potentially.
And that's what I'm saying is now give him another year under Greg's system, another offseason, getting used to playing in the United States, the travel, all that we talk about. It could be even better than you put in
a real full offseason.
Yeah. Then you get Andre Franco. Then you get, you know what I'm saying? Like
who, within like 3 games, looked really good for us.
Literally, he had like 16 assists in 2 games. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. But all right. So, do we want to mention any of the other Fire moves this offseason? Because we mentioned a few last week, but like anything to just kind of tie into the conversation.
I think the Fire are just like
having a great offseason, by the way.
A really good offseason. A season where it's like this is now Greg's team. Like, I would say completely. I'm really curious. Like, we obviously took a big step up this year. Making the playoffs in general was huge. The East is still real tough. And the top got better, I would say. And for the most part, the top got better.
We're getting worse again.
Along with like the Fire did get better here. So can they go a little further? I hope. I'm curious. I think I'm ready for the season for the Fire because I just want to see how this team starts to work and how they play. And there's always been like some stretches of games with this Fire team, not this one specifically because we haven't really seen it, but where they just kind of like lose 5 straight or barely get any points. And I'm hoping there's no like real bad season lulls because those really kill in MLS.
No, it's true. I think the Fire were this weird team last year that under a new manager, you won more games away than you did at home. You created some more modern history than you guys have had in
the stadium's coming along.
It's a great start. Now it's just like anything else, it's built upon it. And if there's a handful of guys that I think I would trust leading that ship. Greg Berhalter is one of them.
Also, shout out to Joe Mansueto. Not usually we talk about owners, but he's been a really good owner in a city with a lot of really bad sports owners.
The Fire excitement is real, and I love it. I am
very excited. Yep.
We said it last year, and this is the first time that you've allowed to have your own personal MLS fandom get excited.
This is the first time. I mean, last year I was pretty excited going into the season. I don't know if it was like there was still like a hangover of doubt, but this is the first time where I actually feel like there's something we can really do.
Yeah. No.
Every week.
I agree. And look, the only other signing that I want to quickly mention for the Fire that I love, that's a little low key, and if players or if fans out there aren't familiar with like the game outside the US, their new 20-year-old center back, Mbekezeli Mbokazki, gonna figure that out by the time.
Mbekezeli.
Yep, thank you. Mbokazki. Got that last. I got the last name. Mbokazki.
Yeah.
I got. 20-year-old center back from South Africa. He is currently the starting center back for South Africa going on in AFCON right now. He had a very good game against Mohamed Salah the other week or the other day. AFCON's just been getting me through this weird time. He's coming over from the Orlando Pirates on a U22 Initiative deal. He, at 20 years old, is closing in on 40 professional games under his belt, and the Orlando Pirates have obviously developed a lot of good South African talent over the years. He's apparently one of the biggest young names in Africa, and you guys locked him down for a deal where I don't think he needs to be your starter. You have Jack Elliott, you have Joel Waterman, but if he's coming in as your third center back with like Sam Rogers right there and whatnot, I think Greg is building out a very strong central defense, and I like that move a bunch. So just wanted to give Mbekazi a little there.
Cool.
All right.
I do think we should quickly shout out Sean Johnson going to DC. I don't know if it's like, I mean, it's sad because both of us are like major Sean Johnson. Like you claim him, I claim him. It is what it is.
Don't get me started on a DC conversation right now because I put it out on Twitter. I'm getting slowly lulled into believing that this team might be good.
Oh no! Don't do it.
I'm believing it.
You know that Sean Johnson has 3 more games played for NYCFC than the Fire.
And an MLS Cup, but we won't talk about it.
All right. Hey, man.
So you have Sean Johnson in net, who by the numbers was one of the best goalkeepers in the entire league last year. You have Sean Nialis coming over from the Red Bulls, who, maybe is a very specific type of styled center back, but I think he's a very talented center back nonetheless. You bring Ty Baribo in, a guy who had, I think it was close to, if not 20 goal contributions last year for the Union. You still have Aaron Herrera at right back, and then they brought in this Japanese left back, Kurokawa, late last night, coming over from the J League. I'm starting to believe, not that I think DC's finishing top 6 in the East, but I'm starting to give Renee Weiler and Erkin Sogut the new head coach.
Let's just make the East even better.
I'm starting to believe that they have a plan and they're sticking to it. And apparently DC's not done. Tom Bogert has a few other rumors and reports out there that they're about to break a club record spend. So
I'm fine with DC being good. Shout out Sam.
Shout out Sam. Shout out. Maybe we get Sam on to talk about the DC excitement.
Hey, he's got to be excited to have a legit goalkeeper.
A legit goal. True. I didn't even think about that. You have a legit. Now we've spread.
Wait. Yeah. Now that's so funny.
We're spreading the goalkeeper love. I love it.
Now Sean Johnson's been at Sam's team, my team, your team.
Yeah. Just get him onto Charlotte next.
Yeah. Immediately.
That's the next play. But no, look. I have to say, DC maybe low-key having a fantastic offseason that I don't know if I would have said that they would have spent all this money even a few weeks ago, to be perfectly honest. But here we are. Yeah. So anything you want to say about DC, or am I living in the DC hype alone here?
I mean, you're starting to convince me a bit.
That's what I do.
But I don't know. I'd like to see it to believe it. Like with the Fire, it's not a club that
I agree.
You can just be like, oh, good off season, because I've heard of good off seasons before.
Or just Dallas with me every off season. I get excited about everyone every off season. That's just what I do. All right. Do you have anything you want to say about the Portland Timbers signing free agent right back Brandon Bai, or do you want to go to some signings?
I mean, consistent player.
Yeah, I
like bring in another guy for them.
Yeah,
I don't have some crazy takes on it, but no, I think it's a solid move for Portland.
Yeah, I think personally for me, the only thing I wanted to say is the fullbacks they've had over the last few years have been very attacking minded, and Brandon Bai has proven to be that with the New England Revolution.
I feel like Portland just has a weird identity under Phil Neville.
Well, all I was going to say is is more defensive though than what we've seen of Juan David Mosquera or a Claudio Bravo at left back or whatever we've seen from their fullbacks. You know what I'm saying? So like Bai's attacking minded, but he can at least defend more than I think than what
I feel like they just go for these super attacking players half the time, most of the time.
Portland has a lot of work to do still. I know they made the playoffs. I know whatever, but like they have a lot of work to do.
Did they make the playoffs?
They did, technically. They made the postseason. All right. Let's go into some signings, Jason. I'll let you pick one to start because
I want to start with
some, but
I want to start with Drake Callender to Charlotte. To Minnesota United from Charlotte for like $450,000 in CAM plus potential for more. Because I don't really know. Like, I guess I'm just confused what's going on. I mean, I get the move for Minnesota, given some other rumors that I don't think we're supposed to talk about yet.
I mean, Dane St. Clair is rumored to enter Miami. When it's official, we'll talk about it. That's pretty much it.
That is it. But like, so it obviously makes sense as a move for Minnesota because like I truly believe Drake Callender is a starter level MLS goalkeeper, and he has shown it. I am confused why he even ended up in Charlotte. Like, what were they looking for?
You and we were texting about this a little bit. The only thing for me is like
he was never starting over Callender.
No, but maybe Charlotte, because I think Callender only recently signed a contract extension, so maybe there was the possibility that Callender was.
Well, that's what we talked about when he went there originally. It was like,
that's what I'm
maybe
saying.
This is like the goalkeeper for our future, which totally makes sense, but I don't know how. I should have looked up how much they spent on him.
I got you.
Like, did they earn money by just basically being a revolving door for him?
I mean, if you do, that's good business. Then like that's.
I mean, if you don't, it was horrible business.
So Charlotte FC acquired Drake Callender from Inter Miami. So Charlotte FC got $750,000 in GAM. So
it's essentially.
Sorry, they spent $750,000 in GAM. Obviously, they acquired the player, and then
they sent him to Minnesota for $450,000 in GAM and potential for another $300,000.
So they're potentially just breaking even on a guy that they were like, okay, if Callender goes, we have a really good guy to replace him.
I hope those potential bonuses are easy to hit. Like,
I mean, if starting for Minnesota, I would. Yeah. I would assume that
it'll probably end up being just a wash, which is fine. Like, it's just, I mean, I'm happy for Drake Callender. I think to go to the actual player to that conversation, I think it's a good move for him. I think Minnesota, obviously, the Dane St. Clair news, when official, will be kind of like I guess it won't be a bomb drop because we've already talked about it, but like
it's been out there, yeah.
But like, I think this is a good move for Drake Callender, and I'm excited to see him actually playing games again because again, like, I think he's a good goalkeeper. He's gotten U.S. minutes, hasn't he?
No, he's gotten called up into camp, but he hasn't officially gotten a camp.
Okay, well, he was en route to potentially get a game.
He's been on a route.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
it's no fault of his own either.
No, he was the starting goalkeeper for a Supporter Shield's winning team, a Leagues Cup winning team with Inter Miami. Yes, it's Inter Miami, so there's always that caveat there. But he was a goalkeeper of the year finalist. He has over 118 games in net at the first team level. Drake Callender is a very good goalkeeper, deserves to start, and I'm glad he's getting that opportunity on a good team at the same exact fact, right? Like, he's not just going to insert bad team here and becoming a starter to just kind of ride out his career. Like, he's only 28. He's gonna have he could have a decade more of playing goalkeeper if he's kind of holds up to that level that he's proven in the past. So I'm happy for him, and it's a good move for Minnesota to replace one of the best in last year, the best goalkeeper in Major League Soccer, with another potential national team level talent guy. Minnesota also bringing in Peter Stroud from the New York Red Bulls, and they signed Tomasz Chankalai from the New England Revolution. The only kind of interesting piece there, Chankalai with the transfer opens up a DP spot for the Revs, who the Revs signed like 35 players last year. So, they needed to move someone if they are going to make some moves, and they did that. So there you go. Is there another move that stands out to you, Jason? I'll let you get a few in here.
Oh, wow. How fun.
I'm being so giving this time of year.
Very nice of you. I think just Jacob Shaffelburg from Nashville to LAFC for $1 million in GAM and a sell-on percent. That's
You're not a fan of it? Not a fan of it?
No, that's just a lot of money. I am a fan of the move. I want to talk about it because I think I'm afraid of attacking that's already crazy good. I don't know. I think this also like Mathieu Choinere. I can't speak French. Choinere also coming back.
Yeah,
right?
the official return.
Yeah, and I think that's a solid move. I like the Jacob Shaffelburg move. I think he's a solid winger. I think he's going to fit nicely as another piece in that LAFC very scary attack with Heung-min Son, Denny Bouanga, Nathan Ordaz. I don't know. You could just go down the list of their players.
Yeah, they're too deep in every position.
I wonder if it was like. I mean, I think this is probably a move to be deep in every position, but like $1 million could be spent probably in another area of their field that might have been more beneficial. But at the same time, it's like I really like the move, so I'm not gonna like. I'm not trying to say I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, that was too much money. For like, it's LAFC. They know what they're doing. And they probably want another guy who can back up Denny Bouanga, who can kind of play around on the wing. That's going to be able to play in a season that has way too many games. So it makes sense. I'm curious. That's a lot of money.
It is. I mean, I like what, and I say it all the time, I like what LAFC does when they're able to make the big money splash, the Bouanga, the Son, the Gareth Bale, the Hugo Lloris, the whoever we want to talk about that they've brought in. That's that big profile, right? But I think the thing that keeps them so competitive is the inner working of the MLS market that they do. That's just top of the line. Ryan Hollingshead from the jump, Mark Delgado, and Kosi Tafari last year, right? Like Aaron Long in free agency now.
Wasn't Tillman from somewhere else too?
Tillman came over from the 2 Bundesliga, but whatever. I'm saying it's still the same. Even Mathieu Choinere, he leaves Montreal, goes to Switzerland because Montreal.
Jeremy Abobasi as a backup.
Abobasi, it's the stars speak for themselves on the LAFC roster, but the way that they had depth and
they almost build like a decent MLS team as their second team.
Literally. And again, we talk about the Sounders, we talk about Miami, we talk about these clubs. LAFC are just one of them. And for Shaffelburg specifically, my only is like, it's a World Cup year. Shaffelburg is not a locked-in winger on the Canadian men's national team roster. Does this move allow for him to make the Canada roster? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe he thrives and he gets a bunch of minutes. I don't know, but to me, it's like.
I mean, I would be surprised if he has he's going to have a good season. It'd be more surprising to me if he doesn't do well with this.
Well, you have half a season, I guess, to prove yourself based off of everything else you've done with Nashville, which his minutes were dwindling last year. So the move makes sense and everything, but I just don't know if it's the best move to get him on the Canada roster, but who knows?
So from his perspective, if he really wants to make the World Cup, it might not be the best move. But from LAFC's perspective,
yes,
this is a home run.
And look, maybe
it's still a lot of money, though. It's still a lot of money for a backup.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Dennis Bouanga is about to be sold. I have no idea. But it is what it is. Okay, let me go into a move or two here that I want to highlight, and then we will sign off for the show. FC Dallas, they've had this.
That's so funny.
That's just where my eyes.
It's always there. It's always in Dallas.
It's always Dallas for me. FC Dallas, they've had two pretty big moves this offseason. They've signed a U22 central midfielder from Israel who apparently, there's a lot of hype around him. He's had a pretty good record of games under his belt for being 21 years old, and last season for Tel Aviv he had 8 goals and 8 assists and whatnot. That, and then you bring in a right wing back in Herman Johansson, a 28-year-old in his prime for Mjällby, Swedish First Division. They just won the Swedish First Division. He was a key starter for them. I like it. I mean, like, I have nothing. I'm not saying it's like, whoa, blowing me off the page, like Dallas is going to be superstars, but it's like you moved Shaq Moore to right center back in the back three last year. You have Uragide, who was a pretty strong center back year one for them. Now you lock in a true right wing back. You have all this.
Not even mentioning Nolan Norris, man.
No, well, I'm just saying there's a lot.
I know.
From the U22s, whether you're talking about Kayike or Benyamin, the new U22 that I was just talking about from Israel, Nolan Norris, you have Peitar Musa up top still. Like, I think Eric Quill is putting together a very young, talented roster, and I think we saw flashes of it last year work. I just want to see if maybe Quill can now push it to the next level and the next step, because there was a point last year that it looked like it all was going downhill. Lucho Acosta's gone, and now all of a sudden it opens up and they play some fun soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're one of those – I think they're like a team like I experienced a lot with the Fire, where they have like a lull in the season that really kind of pushes their – like they have these really high highs and pretty bad lows, which make the season difficult, especially because like I said earlier, in MLS, if you get off to a bad start, you almost have no chance.
Yeah.
But consistency and getting just like you said, after Lucho left, this team looked way different and way better. And now you have
after he left.
And now you have a full offseason. You have a full kind of cycle to get back into it. I think. And if there's any team I'm going to trust for young players, it's going to be FC Dallas.
Yeah,
so
Philly, 100%.
I think there's a lot of potential for this team. And there's definitely, I think, spots in the West to take.
They could move into a true playoff spot wholeheartedly if these young signings start to click and really work out, for sure. So, we don't need to spend 20 minutes on Dallas, but I just wanted to mention that I like it's been 2 moves, but a U22 signing that they've hit pretty well on in the past, and a true out-and-out in his prime starter coming over from a league that has brought successful players. I like it. So, correct me if you think I'm wrong here, Jason. I feel like we should give Austin a quick shout.
I was about to say
Orlando a quick shout, and then we'll finish up.
I do like the last move.
Give me the last move, then we'll talk.
I think Luca de la Torre to Charlotte is a solid move. Obviously, he was in San Diego last season, played 37 games for them. Probably could have had more goal contributions, but 27-year-old going to Charlotte, attacking mid. I just like the move. I like, obviously, for U.S. guys, I'm interested to see how they do. I think in MLS, we talked about going into last season how he can kind of like get back to his solid, really good form. I think he still has potential to be a everyday starter for this team too, in their midfield. I think it makes Charlotte better too. So I like it.
I do think his style is going to fit in very well playing next to Ashley Westwood in that midfield.
And Perea right in front of him.
Yes, and maybe if he needs to slot further up, because Perea needs, like, he can play that attacking mid. I do think he's more of an 8 naturally, but my only concern is Luca de la Torre couldn't, as a USMNT player in his prime, coming from La Liga and with a strong history in the Eredivisie and everything, couldn't win a starting spot in San Diego's roster. And look, maybe that's just, it didn't work out on a specific team with a specific coach, and it is what it is, right? But like he just kind of fell a little bit to the wayside. Yes, he got his games and he got his minutes, but he's the type of profile that I think you want to see like starting in this league when possible, right? Like even like a Paul Arriola-esque type profile. And it's, look, Luca de la Torre had a very good season nonetheless, and it's nothing that I want to say is against him. I just really I have a little doubt in the back of my brain that maybe it doesn't work out in Charlotte, and then does that start just the effect? But
well, yeah, that would just spiral probably a little
you
bit.
like to think a guy with 30 plus caps at the USMNT level can be a starter in Major League Soccer while he's still in his prime. He's only 27 years old, so I'm going to try to be an optimist about it. I just have my concerns. That is where I will leave my Luca de la Torre thoughts. Anything else you want to say about him before we talk about those other two? So I think DC United might be having the best offseason. You guys, DC, and then I think the third team in that conversation is Austin FC. And it's not that Austin has done like all these moves, but they've made their moves, but getting out of the contract and pretty much breaking
this has to be move of the offseason
on Osman Bukari. Polish club Widzew Łódź broke the Polish first division record on a transfer fee for Osman Bukari. Go look at Osman Bukari's numbers on Transfermarkt for his time in Austin. They're not good.
11 goal contributions
as a DP with like 50 plus games or something like that. Like,
and another 5 million in the attack alongside him.
It's incredible. I don't know who the fuck they were talking to over at Lutz, but they got swindled.
They should have turned on their TV.
I wish Bukari go get an Apple TV subscription. I wish Bukari all the best and all the luck, but Jaden Nelson that we talked about last week is an immediate upgrade on the wing from Bukari. And then they go out to Minnesota and they acquire Josef Rosales from Minnesota United for $1.5 million. Not GAM, $1.5 million in one of those cash trades or whatever. And look, Josef Rosales is a very good player, but he, lost his starting spot out in Minnesota last year to Markanich, and it makes sense. Minnesota's going to go profit off of that. So you get Jaden Nelson, you get a starting left back, I think, upgrade. You sign John Bell via free agency, and you get out of Bukari and that money, and you save face on that money. They can go get another DP and upgrade this team so much. I think Austin's been great.
This is a much more balanced team than it was last year. Like, I just feel like it was a lot of money in the attack, a lot of it just doesn't feel like a completely well-built team, where this year already with like 3 or 4 moves, they've completely changed how their team is going to look and play.
Yeah. I would love for them to go get a DP midfielder that can be way more creative to set up guys like Zuni and Vasquez and Nelson, John Gallagher, and all of that. Like, Owen Wolf did a good job last year, and it's not really the creative piece of his game is not really his strong suit. So I'd love to see, if there is that possibility to, to get more of a creative guy centrally for this team. But
I mean, a number 10 DP is just like, you just need to have it. Like, at this point, you just need to have it.
Go get an Argentine number 10 DP. That's how you win.
Hey, they don't all work.
Most of them do, which is the scary part.
That is funny.
All right, last team, and then we'll get out of here. Orlando City, they've had themselves a little bit of a time. Obviously, a lot of players leaving this Orlando City roster that we've known as staples over the last few years. Pedro Gallese, Rodrigo Schlegel, Dagger Danther Halson, Kyle Smith, Cesar Araujo, right? Like, a lot of guys have departed this Orlando City roster, and it's still looking a little thin in my eyes, but they have made 2 U22 Initiative signings in the last week or so. They've signed U22 Initiative winger Thiago from Bahia in the Brazil First Division. And then they also signed a U22 Initiative player in defensive midfielder Luis Otavio from Internacional down in Brazil as well. So, I mean, there's a lot that I think we could talk about. Orlando City still has a lot of work to do, but getting 2 very highly touted young players from, a league that produces a lot of talented young players is a good move in my eyes.
Yeah, I think with Orlando also, like, this is a team that at their best looks like a top 2 seed. Like, incredible team. When they were playing at their best this season, I genuinely was like, who's beating them? And then they obviously fell off big time towards the end of the season. But like they still have Paslic, they still have Duncan Maguire, who hopefully can kind of get back to what we really saw him as a few years ago.
Martin Ojeda had 30-plus goal contributions last year. Like
Luis Mariel is a very good player. Edward Atuesta, still a very good player. This is still a scary team to go up against. Very scary. And I think Oscar Perea is kind of retooling the team. Like you said, I don't like Pedro Gayese leaving. I just think he's like a staple there, and I really like him as a goalkeeper.
You love the oddest goalkeepers.
It's not odd. He's great.
Pedro Gayese, when he's on his game, is like the best goalkeeper in the league. And then when he's not,
maybe he's a little inconsistent. Okay.
Look, I think Perea.
I mean, you think they're going to sign a goalkeeper?
No, I'm just saying. I think. Yes, I do think.
Yeah, I think so.
Goalkeeper or two, but what I'm saying is, I think Perea and Orlando have gotten Orlando to this solid level.
Yeah.
Now, clearly, the team that they've built over the last 2-3 years hasn't elevated past that level. They won an Open Cup, but haven't taken that next step. And maybe this is Perea going, okay, it hasn't worked. Let's try new guys. Let's figure out new things, and let's make it work type of deal. The biggest question to me is you need to sign some backline depth. That's key. You need to sign some goalkeepers. I know Javier Otero is a very young, talented homegrown that's gotten some international looks already.
Also, are we worried Alex Freeman's gone if he's again really good?
Well, that's what I was about to say. Is you have all of that they need to sign players, period. But then you have the Alex Freeman question of, there was reports he was going to leave this winter. Does he leave next month? Or tomorrow? Whatever. Who knows?
When it's open.
And then Luis Mariel, there's a lot of connections to him down in South America for leaving, and that opens up a DP spot for you guys. There's a lot of questions that I still think Orlando.
This would have been a great Drake Callender team.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's also a lot of goalkeepers out on the market. So obviously, Tom Bogert was reporting that Carlos Cornell was close to signing with Orlando. Apparently, he's just never went to Orlando, and he's down in South America right now, signing contracts and stuff. So we will see what unfolds with Carlos Cornell. Dane Sinclair's off the market. So if you're looking at the MLS pool,
allegedly,
you're looking at Maxime Crepeau as probably the next best free agent goalkeeper out there for you. Unless you go outside of MLS, and that's fair and whatnot.
Sean Johnson actually would have been a good move for them too.
I mean, Sean Johnson, Dane Sinclair, and Drake Callender. I mean, even though Drake Callender wasn't a free agent, but those three probably would have been top of the list for me. But I don't know. I like what Orlando's done so far. I think they filled some holes, but
for sure they're not finished. So
unfortunately, they had a lot of holes to fill. So we will see. Anything else, I guess, before we close out 2025, Jason?
Everyone have a fun and safe New Year's.
You sounded like a dad. Everyone, have fun, be safe.
You said something earlier. You're like, oh, he's who are we talking about? It might have been Choinere, who's 26 or something, and you're like, yeah, he's getting older or something. And I was like, no, he's not. That's still a child.
I know. And then
I was like, now I feel so old.
Our old asses at 30. It is what it is. All right. Well, again, I'm going to say it as I started the episode. Thank you all for watching, listening to all the episodes that you have this year. Jason, thank you to you. Thank you to Major League Soccer.
I feel like we were just doing this last year. I feel like this year went by so fast.
2025 was a quick one. We had a lot of good episodes this year. Yeah. A ton of fun, and the Korean population hates us as well, so that's fun.
We love Heung-min Son.
We that's how I'm gonna leave it. We love Heung-min Son. Happy New Year, everyone. See you all in 2026. Goodbye.